Alright, so we have game 3 up on the screen here, and there are a few interesting things on the board. It's not immediately clear to me what it is you want to do. My opponent opens with an armory, pairs it with a steward. That seems like something I would do on 4-3 as well. Maybe steward silver, maybe steward armory. The armory I presume is for all the fortresses. There's a nice altar fortress thing, you could keep gaining nice things. But I don't have 4-3. I don't have 4-3. There's some weak draw on the board with Steward, which you would want anyway because you could trash with it. And it seems like you want to trash down here just because you could maybe get something going with Fortress and Steward. But like you could open Pearl Diver Steward on 5-2 there, or Pearl Diver Armory maybe on top deck as Steward if you see it early enough, hopefully. Well, whenever you see it, but hopefully you see it early enough. But I go for these suits here. I don't feel like the Fortress Steward thing is sturdy enough to work, is not stable enough to work, I think. There's a bunch of extra points in Feardom and Keep, but Keep seems to be a lot more influential than Feardom. I did have 3 on that turn 4 there, but not gonna pick up another Steward. I have 2 terminals in the deck already, Soothsayer and Steward. And I'm actually looking to pick up a Fortress as soon as possible. One reason I opened with these suits is because it gains gold, and I was hoping to use said gold to pick up an altar to help me with my trashing. Second steward for me here in the hopes that I would be able to pick up a fortress before the shuffle, but as it turns out that isn't going to be the case. Trashing here is far too important for me to ignore. I've already started to trash a lot later than my opponent. I am putting curses in his deck to slow him down from developing his deck a little, but I cannot neglect trashing, so I have to trash there. Pick up a Pool Diver, maybe angling towards a 3 pile there, maybe. With all the goals in my deck, I think that suits me more than my opponent. Now he went for a Banquet on his last turn and picked up a Soothsayer. I don't really like Banquet in general. I feel like whatever it is you're doing with the Banquet, it can't possibly be worth it. Worth the 2 coppers to put that thing into your deck. Maybe sometimes, maybe. But in general, I feel like that's something I shy away from because I've ingrained it into my system. You know, coppers, they're not good cards. You don't want them in your deck. I have lost to some interesting Banquet strategies already though, but that's for another day. Anyway, my opponent has a bridge now. Well, he had it for a while, but the bridge armory thing is also possible. So if you could stick a bridge into play, you could start gaining forums with your armory, which is real nice, which is perhaps enough encouragement to go after the the fortress and steward thing. So only while my opponent is picking up, that's an awful draw for me. I would have picked up a steward there for sure, but still not able to trash these estates out of my deck. Because I don't want to give my opponent all the fortresses and all the stewards. Maybe I do, because there's only 4 Pearl Divers left and we would very quickly run into a 3 pile. But I would also like to do something with Fortress and Steward. My plan for the game right now is to make use of all these golds from Soothsayers with Forum. I want to use a bunch of forums to sift through my deck and find a bunch of golds by provinces. That's really what I'm aiming for when building this deck here. So here goes my first forum, and on 6 could be another forum. I was expecting to get a plus buy here actually, but as it turns out the plus buy is only when you buy a forum. So on the plus buy there I would have gone Fortress, Pearl Diver, but just gonna pick up the single Fortress instead. So like I said, I didn't believe in the Fortress Steward thing. I believed more in just sifting through your deck and finding a bunch of gold and buying provinces with those things. The early Soothsayer means that I will probably win the keep points for gold, but there's also silver and copper that I need to keep track of. My opponent has the 1 silver right now, so he has those keep points, but as we keep trashing stuff out of our deck, the copper count is going to become a bit more difficult to track. So for a long time, because our draws going not in the way I wanted it to, I didn't have enough actions in my deck. And I had terminal collision quite a few times. so far, and I really decided at that point just now to go after the fortresses a bit aggressively. My opponent is slowly picking them up. So one, it lets me play my terminals, the Soothsayer and the Altars and the Stewards, and it also cuts him off from picking up more fortresses to play more bridges. Really, that's the big concern, honestly. So here, like, he plays the armory before the bridge. You know, I get he just wanted the fortress anyway, but it's good practice to play the bridge first, then the armory, just to keep your options open. You know, just to keep. Maybe you could have gained the forum and then bought the fortress and something else. Whatever, whatever. He goes for another banquet here, so more coppers in his deck. I'm not unhappy to see that. He has drawn quite a bit of his deck on his last turn there, so it seems like he is quite thin, or thin enough anyway, to start doing things of significance, perhaps. So I have to be, I am actually a little bit concerned here because I haven't put together anything as comprehensive as my opponent just did. So a little bit scared. I pick up a final Steward here. Again, I think I have enough actions to support the Steward, and it also kind of angles towards a 3 pile. The curses are also running as we play Soothsayers. I know that I didn't capture the whole screen properly, so it's not easy to tell how many curses or estates or provinces are left. So for the remaining few games, I will try to inform you all as things go along. So my opponent, he stalled actually on his last turn, stalled relative to what I've seen before, just trashing a curse and copper out of his deck. And really, that's kind of what I expected to happen with this Steward engine with fortresses. You will stall sometimes. You will draw a hand with 4 Stewards and an armory or something sometimes. And I wasn't too attracted by that, and I decided to just go with my Soothsayer opening and try to build out of it. Anyways, I trashed the estate here instead of the copper because, look, I have the key points for copper right now. I think there's 1 copper in the game, and I have the points for it. My opponent has 9 points, so he has these silvers, I believe. And maybe he has 1 copper as well, I'm not sure. I just gave him a curse with the Soothsayer. I come up with 13 there, and pick up a forum and a province. The forum is a real nice card. And I use the altar, trashing the estate to gain a bridge finally. The bridge actually is going to be quite helpful in the end here to pick up multiple things. My opponent has the bridge, so he could buy 2 things and gain something off the armory. He doesn't have an altar, I have the altar, so we have 1 gainer each, but he has the extra buy in the bridge. I don't like that. He has the bridge, so I pick up the 1 bridge. I can't play any more than the 1 bridge. Oh well, what can you do? But I don't really think he could play more than the 1 bridge either. So he comes up with just 9 here, so he has less money than me. Thank you, Soothsayer. Picks up a province here, as well as, I believe it's a Steward. I think it's a Steward here. So now I definitely have the key points for the copper. There's 1 copper in the game. I have it in my deck. The 11 points that he has is 6 from the province, 5 from the key points for the silver. So just keeping track of that. He has 2 gold. I have 4 gold. Just so we clear about what's happening with the keep points here. Feardom isn't going to come into play here, it seems. And I actually managed to draw through my whole deck here. I'm able to trash the curse that my opponent put into it, actually. And I use that curse to gain a silver, which levels up the keep count for the silver. So I get 5 points for turning this curse into a silver here. Well, more than 5 because I removed -1, but you know what I'm saying. Get the silver here, and I actually could draw it with the forum and play it right away. So that's pretty neat. The deck actually came together here in the end. I was a little bit surprised, but it came together. Now I have all the key points: gold, copper, silver, all mine. And I thought about picking up forum here, forum province, and something else. Maybe forum province, gold. That works. But I decided to just go get the 2 provinces and hustle the end of the game. So he has 1, I have 1, there's 6 left. I pick up 2 here. Now there's 4 left. I expect him to get 1. And if I have a turn as good as that, I could get 2 more, and that just completely sinks him. Double province completely sinks my opponent if I'm able to pull it off. Might not be able to because on my last turn I used all the draw possible. And I actually had to draw things in the right order. I had to see fortresses and then stewards rather than stewards and fortresses. Forums help, but I don't have that many of them. I only have 3. The card from the Soothsayer helps. You'll see me here not play my Soothsayer sometimes in the end game here just because, well, I don't need the gold. I also don't want the gold because it's kind of a stop card. I have enough gold, I feel. And more importantly, I don't really want to give my opponent the extra card. Like I said before, I feel like the Fortress Steward thing is flimsy and I don't want to give him the extra card that helps him to kick off, really. If I could avoid it, if I don't need to play it. So here, for instance, on this turn, I actually don't make use of the Soothsayer. I don't need to win key points or anything, so if I don't have to give him the card, I'm not going to give him the card, is what I'm saying. So I use the Altar Fortress trick, finally, to gain a duchy, so there's 7 duchies left, that's the first duchy. And again, here I thought about Soothsayer or Steward. I decided to take the money because taking the money lets me get province and duchy. I really didn't want to trigger that shuffle. I discarded a bunch of bad things with the forearms there. I could have drawn, tried to look for money to pick up double province. That's not worth it. Not worth it at all. Probably guarantees that I stall the next turn and gives my opponent a lot more flexibility on what to do on his turns. So here comes a cartographer for him. There was recently an article or something on cartographer versus forum. Most people seem to think forum is just a way better card in general than cartographer. I like forum. Forum is cool. Nice little sifter. Cartographer is cool too, you know. I think they both do well here. Forum here was especially nice because you could gain it and get the buy off of it. So one turn, for instance, I went forum province, but I didn't have a bridge in play, right? Just using the property of the forum. Talking about province and duchy, my opponent picked up province duchy on his turn there, and I'm going to pick up the last province to win. So there's game 3 for you. Thank you for watching.